Look at those flowers. Wow. Today's podcast is going to be absolute fire. I'm super excited for it. Yesterday's podcast was awesome as well. If you're not watching, you're not listening to Mark Bell's Power Project, then you have no life. And if you are listening to it, then that also means that you have no life. I'd love you guys to tune in. I'd love you guys to share it more with people, because the message that we're pumping out is a positive one. And the people that are listening, it's impacting a lot of people positively. It's not just a bunch of mumbo jumbo motivational shit. It's some real world stuff. People sharing real world experiences, how they've been successful in business or fitness, or how they've been able to attack something in a savage way and come out on top. Got to show you this quote over here. This is sick. I love this. Martin Luther King. Look how good that is. Fucking awesome. Freaking awesome. Oh, good. My shopping cart. There we go. The old railroad tracks. Many power projects have been filmed here, ladies and gentlemen. On today's power project, Noah Kingery. You guys don't know the name yet, but this guy was 356 pounds, alcohol addicted, thinking about suicide, thinking about ending it all, and he was able to break that before he broke. He was able to get out in front of it, and he was able to make a change. And there's a couple reasons why I reached out to Noah, but number one was, and just kind of seeing a video where his language was so much similar to mine, where I was like, oh my God, I got to meet this guy. I got to figure this out. And so he's here. He's going to be here today, and we're going to shoot the shit, and we're going to get to the bottom and try to figure out how he's able to overcome. Because, there's a lot of people that live an unchanged life. And I don't have a problem with that, because some people start out life and they kind of start out ahead of others, and then they kind of just stay there. And they still have their own form of success. They still improve. That's how I judge them. Success is, are you able to get better? Progress. I don't know what everyone else's definition of success would be, but where were you a year ago? Where were you 6 months ago? Where were you 6 years ago? These are the things I think of when I think of success. And if you're not anywhere further along than you were a year or two ago, now you've got to kind of have a conversation in your head. Remember, I tell you guys all the time, the most important person you'll ever interview, or the most important interview that you'll ever hear, is the one that you sit down and do with yourself. Be your own fucking Barbara Walters and sit down and ask yourself the hard questions of life. What do you want to do? What do you want to be? You want to be something? You better do something. If you want to be something, the only way to do it is to have some sort of struggle or resistance that you face. And if you're someone like myself who grew up white, upper middle class, I didn't have a lot of resistance. You can look at it from a lot of different angles, but we live in America. I live in America, grew up in America, grew up in a great city, grew up in a great area, had great parents. All the things were kind of in my favor, and I've been able to keep them that way. But when you have a lot of opportunity out in front of you, when you have the world by the ass, so to speak, as my grandfather would say, when you have everything, you're going to have to figure out ways to make up resistance. So that's what I did. I got myself in the gym and toughened my mind, because how else was I going to get tough? I mean, some people that grow up fortunate, maybe they get a job and they learn the value of a dollar type of thing. But that wasn't me, and that wasn't what I was interested in, that wasn't what I wanted to do. And then some people fall victim to drugs and alcohol because let's face it, we do have everything. Drugs, alcohol, food, sex. I mean, we have like everything's at our, like literally at our fingertips. You can order kind of whatever you want from Amazon. You can pornography is everywhere in abundance and free. And obviously, like, drugs and alcohol are not, we're not short on any of that either. We got everything, right in front of us. Food is everywhere. Look at this bagel place. Noah's Bagel. Food's in abundance. Food's everywhere. Food's tempting. We have these, we end up with some bad habits, and then we just start sliding downhill. And next thing you know, you're like, holy shit. I can't stop. Can't stop myself from drinking. I can't stop myself from doing whatever's your flavor, right? Oh my God, this turned into a Starbucks like overnight. What the hell? Craziness. A brand new Starbucks. That's weird. I was just here a couple days ago. I didn't see no Starbucks down here, but apparently there's a Starbucks. They moved out of the other place next to the bagel shop. But yeah, Noah Kingery is on the podcast today. I forget what his Instagram handle is, like Real Truth Transformation or something like that. But anyway, badass. And his language was so much similar to mine that I was really drawn to him, really drawn to his story. He talked about putting one foot in front of the other. And he said, don't worry about step number 30. Worry about step number 1. He talked about how people are fearful of having flappy skin from losing massive amounts of weight. And he talked about how you can kind of overcome that fear as well. He just said, look, the reward of losing the weight and the reward of the mental change is so beneficial. You need to really give it a shot. In the middle, smack dab in the middle here of a 48-hour fast, or maybe even coming down the other side, because I can eat tonight if I want. Or I can abort the mission and try to go 72 hours. We'll see. Feeling good. I'm going to do a little Metcon via my boy. That's right, my boy, Jason Khalipa. He and I are going to get together and soon enough and collaborate once again. But in the meantime, I'm going to do a workout that he pitched over to me. He said for me to do push presses. And every time I break down on a push press, I'm trying to do about 10-15 reps on the push press. Every time I break down and want to cry on the push press, drop down and do 10 up downs. And then from there, I go back to the push press, back and forth, times 4, and boom, that's the workout. Try to see how quickly I can get that done. Shit. We'll see what happens, man. Push press, like, I don't even know how to overhead press. I know how to bench press. That's probably about it. It'll hurt. I'm sure I'll cry. But I'm going to give it a shot. My legs are super sore, by the way. My legs are really sore. Did some squats the other day. Brutal. So yeah, why did I choose to pop in a 48-hour fast? Well, while I was traveling with the wifey, the eating was not where it should have been. And not that it was that bad either, because I actually came back and I weighed 239, which is a pound less than what I weighed when I left. But the food choices and the drinking and everything else was not great. So I was like, you know what? Let's reform a discipline. Let's lean into the resistance of life. Let's find. That's how you make your money. Is where you make your money by finding the resistance, finding the harder part, finding the tougher road, creating your own path, blazing your own trail, thinking outside the box and walking around the outside corners of that box. No cutting corners. Leave no stone unturned. If there was $1 million in a rock garden, how many rocks would you flip over till you found the money? Leave no stone unturned in your life. Try different things. Experiment. Keep pushing forward. Keep figuring out ways to get things done. The only way to figure out stuff is to put stuff out in the universe and do. Stop being a thinker. Stop. Just fucking stop. Stop thinking and start doing. Start putting up points on the scoreboard. And don't worry about the consequences of putting up those points. Sometimes you got to really stick shit out there to get the ball across the goal line, right? And yeah, you might separate your shoulder, or you might get knocked out because someone might blast you. But somebody might hit you in the ankles and you might flip and land on your head. We don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. But you have to do and stop thinking. People think too much. They literally think too much. You want to think and then do. Think and do. Think and do. And sometimes, with a lot of occasions, you kind of aim and shoot at the same time, as I talk about often. You want to think and then act almost right away. The only exception to that is when it's going to hurt another person or hurt a relationship or something like that. That's the only exception. Otherwise, you aim and shoot all goddamn day long. You think about something, you act upon it. I wrote down about 6 things for today. All 6 of those things are going to be acted upon today. I'm going to, sometimes I have some things that will, let's say, pop up, right? I have a project with Mind Bullet that I'm working on. A side project, right? So it's not really a side project, though. It's a primary project. Everything's primary. Everything's important. So it wasn't important, it wouldn't be in my life. So I need to figure out a way to get it done. So yesterday was kind of a full day. I couldn't work on that and work on, podcasting and everything else I was doing yesterday with James Fitzgerald. You guys got a lot. Listen to that podcast. We went like 3 hours, but man, we covered a lot, and that guy knows a lot. So you should really give it a listen, even though to a lot of you guys, he might be a nobody. But he's the first CrossFit Games champion, and people always get all pissy about CrossFit. But he's the first CrossFit Games champion. He's a stud, and he's navigated the fitness world very, very successfully. Anyway, I couldn't possibly have done what I'm going to do today yesterday. So I kind of made some mental notes of it, put it in my phone as quickly as I could. Sometimes I just talk to my phone and do a voice note. Other times I will just go into the notes and talk to the notes section and make a note of it as soon as I can. Now I have 5, 6, 7 things to get to today that I will put into action. I'll put the ball into play. And yes, I have made some advancements. I do have about 20 people that work for me nowadays. And so I can get some help with stuff. And I can have people, help me and help me get some of these things done. But even before then, I would still just go ahead and just do it myself. We have over 40 projects that we're working on right now at Slingshot. Some of them are apparel. Some of them are Slingshot related. Some of them are hip circle related. Some of them are knee sleeve related. But we're coming. We're working hard. We're working fast. And we're working with a killer instinct, and we're working with accuracy. And all these other companies that don't do shit for powerlifting, all these other people that own these powerlifting companies that you never heard of, you never heard of some of these names of some of these owners. They don't represent powerlifting. They don't have a 10,000 square foot free powerlifting gym. They don't offer free seminars, which, by the way, we have a free seminar for the military this week, which is sold out. Got about 50 people there, something like that. Super excited for that this weekend. But I don't even know why anyone would invest money in those other companies, because all those other companies have done is just put money into advertising to powerlifters. That's literally all they've done. That's all they've done. They didn't shoot over 1,000 videos teaching you how to bench press, squat, and deadlift. And remember too, all that was done before there was monetary gain involved, before there was slingshot, there was super training. And I was pumping out videos back then, just showing you my lifts, and then showing you how I was able to do it, showing you how I squatted 800, 900, 1,000, and so on. There's not another owner who's done that. There's not another owner who's put up more points on the scoreboard. 2636 total, 1080 squat, 766 deadlift, 854 bench. Come at me, bro. Or don't even waste your time, because you get blown the fuck away. We are cranking over here at Slingshot, and I'm super proud of it. I'm super excited, and there's not another company in our space that can even come close to what we're currently doing and what we're about to do. Everybody better watch out, and everybody better start hiring a lot of people, because we got a lot of ammo, we got a lot of firepower, and we're about to do some really cool shit that I'm super excited about. Noah Kingery on the podcast today. Make sure you tune in, make sure you check it out. I think he's on at like 9 a.m., which means I better get my ass to work. So I only got about 2 hours to myself here. Just cranking in that 10-minute walk. I encourage all of you each and every day to try to find some form of movement. James Fitzgerald said he tries to do some sort of working out every day, but let's lower the bar on what a workout has to be. Maybe you have 3 or 4 gym days a week. Okay, and maybe sometimes you only have 1 or 2. But let's lower the barrier of entry for ourselves into what our fitness always has to look like. Look, man, some days you should go in there and clobber yourself, and other days you should not. You should stay out of there. You should have moments in your diet where you're eating more, and moments in your diet where you're eating less. You should have moments in your life where you're doing more and where you're doing less. There should be a little bit of give and take in just about everything that you do. A little bit of polarity, a little bit of plus, a little bit of minus in everything that you do. Some wiggle room, so to speak, so you can do it for a long time. That's what this is all about. You want to be able to do this shit for a long ass time. And when you're squatting, benching, deadlifting, and you're in the gym, you're getting after it, you do want to get after it with everything you got. And if you want to be a competitor and you want to compete at a high level, you don't have the ability to really think about tomorrow. But if you're just training for fitness and just training for overall health, you should be thinking about tomorrow. You should think about the next day and the day after that. You can still be a savage. You can find a way to toe that line, but lift like a professional. Make it look like you know what you're doing. Lift with precision, lift with accuracy. Make sure that you're diligent, and make sure that you're paying attention to your form, keeping your back flat, keeping your stomach tight. How many times can you afford for your back to not be flat in a workout? For me, I learned what that number was. I could do that 3 times in a workout before it would bleed over into other workouts and give me a lifting hangover, as I would call it. And it would bleed into the other workouts, and it would impede my other workouts. Even a heavy deadlift session could kill my bench. Heavy bench session could kill my squat. A heavy squat could kill my deadlift, and so on. They could all kill each other. You got to think about that. Like in the beginning of the week, you start out your training with like a strength meter, and your strength meter goes down and down like a video game. Starts out green, then maybe it turns yellow, and then maybe it starts to dissipate, and then maybe it turns red. Then your guy's all fucked up. You're all fucked up. You can't do shit. Elbows hurt, knees hurt, hips hurt, lower back hurts. Everything starts to hurt, and you're reduced to nothing. You're reduced to 0, which isn't a great place to be, because we're trying to go full throttle all the time. The only way we can go full throttle and be full bore and be full blast is if we take care of ourselves, and if we're doing stuff that's intense and difficult, but we're making it still look like 80% rather than making it look like 187%. That makes sense? We're all on the same page. Page 43. Look at this hat and this shirt. This is sick. I think a lot of this stuff sold out. You guys got to be on the ball more. 2006. Who else has been around since 2006? Rogue Fitness was there. They've been around since 2006. And then let me think about some of the other powerlifting companies that sell knee sleeves and wrist wraps and things like that. Nope. I guess I can think of Inzer. Obviously, they've been around for a long time. Those guys have been pioneers. Those guys have been around for a long time. And there's a few others, right? There's a few of those other old school companies. But as far as the new school, the way I see it, they just came out after me and tried to follow along in my footsteps. Well, it ain't gonna work. We're gonna break our foot off in some people's asses this year, and I'm excited about it. Strength is never weakness is never strength. Catch you guys later, alligator.